Hello everyone, my name is Austin Talbot.
My name is Alex Drexel.
And together we present to you the biogas energy alternative for Western Washington University. Without further ado, here is a brief overview. Currently our campus is heated using steam power. This is produced at our steam plant. This steam is produced by burning natural gas, which just so happens to make up 1/3 of WWU's carbon emissions. This is a rather large percentage. For those of you who are unaware of what natural gas is methane. And for those of you who are unaware of what biogas also is methane. So there is a strong correlation between these two, and we believe that biogas can be an excellent substitution for this natural gas. Not to mention capturing methane that is naturally released from our organic waste and turning into carbon dioxide by burning it actually reduces our carbon footprint, because methane is 30 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So biogas can be generated by decomposing organic waste in absence of oxygen, and here's how we propose to do it.
So we would use anaerobic digesters on campus to produce 3 usable end products. The first end product being biogas, which is largely methane, as Austin explained. The second being fertilizer or compost. And the third being a potential livestock bedding. Essentially, here we've got a diagram of a biogas digester. You put in liquid and solid waste, heat it to about 110 degrees Fahrenheit, mix it all up, and as the waste digests, decomposes, methane gas is released and floats to the top. That gas can be siphoned off and put into our natural gas pipelines, and in our case would head straight to our steam plant to heat the campus. What's remaining in terms of the liquid effluent would be able to be used either on campus or sold as fertilizer or compost, and the remaining solid waste would be able to be used as livestock bedding, so potentially sold to neighboring farms. And our executive summary basically kind of sums everything up. We propose to reduce Western's carbon footprint while simultaneously expanding its renewable energy portfolio, cutting down on landfill waste, and also producing nutrient-rich fertilizer by replacing the natural gas that we use to heat our campus with biogas.
So there's a few needs that we will need to accomplish in order to make this project a possibility for our university. So first and foremost, we as a university are committed to sustainability. We signed the American College and University President's Climate Commitment on January 7th, 2007. This essentially fully commits our university to reducing our levels of carbon emissions by 57% based on 2005 levels by 2050. In order to do this, we want to become carbon neutral. We need to reduce our landfill waste, and we want to reduce our emissions. By pursuing an alternative energy source such as biogas, this presents us with an excellent opportunity to tackle this process in any avenue that we possibly can. And I think it's very necessary, especially because our steam plant currently is responsible for 1/3 of our carbon emissions currently from natural gas. We can completely offset this by harnessing our own natural gas from our waste products that we are currently not utilizing to the full potential.
So the first case study we looked at was at University of California, Davis. They partnered with a company called Clean World to create their own anaerobic digester system. UC Davis is located directly next to a former landfill, and so they've been able to use the gas generated from their anaerobic digester, and it mixed it with the methane already coming off of the landfill to provide 5.6 million kilowatts of clean electricity per year. This has allowed them to be able to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions by 13.5 thousand tons per year, reduce the digester reduces or goes through 50 tons of feedstock per day, producing 12,000 kilowatts of electricity every day, in total diverting 20,000 tons of waste per year from landfills. and their program was relatively inexpensive when compared to other costs, costing just $8.5 million and being built from the ground up in just under 6 months.
Now, in recognizing the successes of biogas, it's also important for us to recognize the failures as well. And I think this particular example of the University of South Carolina really stresses for our university to take its time with this project and make sure that we do it right, and that we go through all of the proper avenues that we can actually use to accomplish this. First and foremost, the University of South Carolina built a huge generator at a cost of over $16 million. It was meant to provide 80% of its peak winter capacity needs, and it was supposed to save $2.5 million a year. Unfortunately, the process was rushed. The generator exploded in 2009, very soon after it was built, and it was a complete failure. And that's a real bummer for the biogas community. But we believe that if we pursue the correct avenues, that we can get this done. And another example of a university who is currently doing exactly that is Evergreen State College in Thurston County. They're currently trying to get an anaerobic digester in Thurston County, and they're looking at sourcing, and they're trying to overcome some current permitting issues. Again, they're taking their time with this project to make sure that they can do it right and that they can go through all of the proper avenues to make sure that this project is all that it can be. Yes, they are receiving some political backlash, and that's typical for any project of this scale, especially because of some of the externalities that go along with it. In the end, they may end up looking at some small-scale educational projects just to get this kind of started off the ground so that they can make some room for a bigger improvement later on.
So there are a few requirements necessary to be met for this project to be viable for Western. First and foremost, has to meet the heating needs. Western uses roughly 200 billion BTUs of natural gas each year to heat campus. We spend roughly $1 million per year on that amount of natural gas. So in order for a biogas project to be viable, we would have to generate an equivalent amount to entirely replace our natural gas usage, if that's the end goal. Siting, we would have to find an appropriate, efficient location on campus to build an anaerobic digester. We would need to find an area where we would be able to tap into our pipelines to get the natural gas to the steam plant and heat the campus. We'd also need to address permitting issues. We would need to get solid waste handling permits, that kind of stuff, to have that amount of organic waste on campus. Getting these permits will allow us to potentially collect from the surrounding community and operate essentially as a waste utility. And we would be able to collect tipping fees from people to help offset those costs. And then as well, another big issue would be sourcing. We have to address whether Western's campus has enough organic waste on its own to produce the amount of energy that we would need, or if we would have to bring in organic waste from the community outside.
So we have identified two directions that we can move as a university towards achieving this goal. The first would be the on-campus biogas digester. We could produce our own biogas in our own anaerobic digester, and we could use the organic waste from WWU's campus, food waste, agricultural waste, waste from the surrounding community that's not being utilized to its full potential, and that's currently just releasing methane into the environment and not being captured. And we think we can harness this. And we can encourage a flourishing educational environment on campus, and we could even generate potential revenue from tipping fees from handling this waste from surrounding communities. Obviously, this means we would need to acquire some necessary permits.
The second option is to move forward with a partnership with a utility company. This would entail essentially similar to WWU's wind farm agreement, allowing the utility to take the upfront costs in building and maintaining the digester, while we pay a premium on the energy rates that we would be getting from them, and that would allow us to essentially achieve the same goal without having to build our own anaerobic digester.
Overall, this project has been done successfully before, and we believe that with such a great precedent set, that our university can achieve something similar, and in fact, we are under an obligation to achieve something, so any step in the right direction we think is a necessary step. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.